When you think Umbrella Academy, you don't necessarily think of an ultra-powerful team of superheroes despite the show being about that very thing. The show really focuses on the characters themselves, and their superpowers are really a secondary attraction. But in this video, we will do our best to put some respect on the name of the Umbrella Academy. While they may not be the Avengers, the Justice League, or even the Seven, they're still a powerful team in their own right. But before we get to that, I'd like to mention today's sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. Want to assemble your own family of superpowered beings to fight evil? Well, you can't really do that here, but you can assemble a team from a roster of almost 500 champions to collect and upgrade, endless artifacts to find, and there are billions of different teams to try out. Raid Shadow Legends has years of content that could keep even Five entertained during his time in the apocalypse. They've added a ton of updates since the last time they sponsored one of our videos, so let me give you a quick rundown. First, they've added champion fragments, which let you collect pieces of champions that you can use to summon specific awesome champions with special events running all the time. There's also a new bazaar where you can load up on high value items with gold bars you win in Tag Arena, and they just extended the daily login rewards up to 270 days, with free champions available just for logging in. The game is constantly adding new content, and now might just be the best time to start. Make sure you're quick using our link in the description, as every new player will get an exclusive welcome pack that contains 100,000 silver, 50 gems, 10 mystery shards, and a free amazing champion, Hexweaver. Now let's pop open some of these shards to see what these epic champions look like. Okay, so here we have a Pounder level 1, a rare character. I have most of these rares as I have been playing for quite some time, but we can use these to sacrifice into our stronger characters to make them even more powerful. So we have a Grandmaster level 1, but hopefully we can go through here and maybe get an epic champion out of our ancient shard. Let's go ahead and summon once again to see if we get something different, and another rare. Okay, like I said, these are all useful because they can be sacrificed later. Boom, and here we have Tainix Hateflower, a character I actually don't have. And since I don't have this character, I don't really know what she does. So let me pop open the reviews. I can see where she's best and what I should equip onto her so I can use her to her fullest ability later. Be sure to act fast because these rewards are only available for the next 30 days and they will be found in your inbox at the end of the promotion. Thanks again to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video. Now back to the Umbrella Academy. Today we will be looking at each member, starting with number 1 and going to number 7, as Reginald Hargreeves, the adoptive father of the team, actually already power scaled them for us. He believed that number 1 Luther was the weakest, and they scaled up from there to number 7, who he believed was the strongest. So let's see just how correct Pops was, and at the end of the video I will renumber the members with how I believe they should be numbered. But before that, I'd like to just make a general statement here so I don't have to repeat it over and over and over again. Each one of the children, aside from Vanya, was rigorously trained in martial arts, and each displays their talents throughout the series. Diego and Five seem to be the most skilled hand-to-hand fighters, but each of the children showed their skills at one point or another. Allison and Diego were able to go toe-to-toe with Cha-Cha, who is considered one of the top 3 deadliest Temps agents ever, and Allison states that they're lucky to have survived their battle. Luther brawls with Hazel, who is also in the top 3 deadliest Temps agents of all time, and of course Five is the deadliest Temp agent of all time. So with their general hand-to-hand skill covered, let's discuss their specific powers. Number 1, Space Boy, also known as Luther Hargreeves, is the self-appointed leader of the Umbrella Academy, and his powers are pretty straightforward. He's got super strength, and I guess super durability, although his power is kind of wildly inconsistent throughout the show. One minute he's being knocked out in a bare-knuckle boxing match by a regular Joe, the next he's no-selling a rocket launcher to the back. This model rocket launcher is likely an RPG-7, which is a Russian-made handheld anti-tank grenade launcher that was introduced in 1961 and used throughout the Vietnam War. With an explosive yield of up to 2.1 kilograms, this model can easily destroy various vehicles, small aircrafts, concrete walls, and can even penetrate reinforced steel. But I really don't think this is his best feat. So if you paid attention really close, you may have noticed this newspaper in Reginald Hargreeves' office that mentions the Eiffel Tower incident. This is an event from the team's past where they fought a zombie robot, Gustav Eiffel, and in this story, Luther punched the Eiffel Tower so hard that it fell over. Now, that may have never happened in the show, and likely didn't based on what we've seen, but it's still an interesting Easter egg to keep in mind regardless. However, we do see one feat from Luther pre-monkey serum, and that's during the children's first mission where he tosses a full-grown adult male 2 stories into the air without much effort. And after being set out on a mission alone, Luther was horribly injured, so his father injected him with a serum that saved his life, but it also turned him into a half-human, half-ape man. It's currently unknown if this amplified Luther's power or took from it, but in his monkey form he battles against Hazel, and at one point gets a massive chandelier dropped on top of him and then gets back up. After the fight, Hazel and Cha-Cha admit that they're afraid to fight Luther again. Number 2, the Kraken, also known as Diego Hargreeves, is one of the more skilled members of the team, as I mentioned previously. He was able to get the better of Luther despite having a significant strength disadvantage, and again has rumbled with Cha-Cha and even Hazel. 5 claims Hazel and Cha-Cha have killed people far more dangerous than Diego, but despite this, Diego does well in nearly every fight we see him in. Diego's ability in Season 1 is pretty straightforward. He's able to control his throwing knives mid-flight, which is a very nifty ability for stealth missions, or even close quarters and ranged combat. But in Season 2, his ability is expanded upon. It turns out that he can control other projectiles like bullets, which he redirects in Episode 1 of Season 2, and in the final episode, he's able to stop dozens of bullets in their tracks. Number 3, the Rumor, also known as Allison Hargreeves, is far too low on Reginald's list in my opinion. If you happen to know her ability before encountering her, sure, you might have a chance, but once you're rumored, it's pretty much game over. Her ability is so potent that it can even warp reality itself. As a child, we see her use it non-lethally when she has a bank robber shoot his friend, but when she's put in a corner, this ability is absolutely insane. Essentially, whatever she says has to come true, even if it breaks natural laws. When the Swedes attack her and her husband, she rumors one of them into killing the other, and the one being strangled has absolutely no defense against his brother. It seems to me that the rumor placed upon the Swede made him stronger than he would be normally, so his brother would have no chance to fight back. And this ability to reality warp is shown off more obviously during the opening sequence of Season 2, when she blows the minds of 3 soldiers. Their heads glow with an ethereal light, and then are blown to bits, sort of how Dr. Manhattan destroys his enemies in the Watchmen series. Number 4, the Seance, also known as Klaus Hargreeves, has a very morbid ability that can be used in many different ways. He has the ability to commune with the dead and summon ghosts to assist him in battle, and at one point was able to visit the afterlife and speak with his father, although I wouldn't consider dying a power, but while he was there, his father did mention that Klaus never scratched the surface of his powers. In Season 1, we find out that his father would lock Klaus in a mausoleum to force him out of his apprehension to use his ability, but this had the inverse effect. It scarred Klaus so deeply that as a teen he began abusing drugs and alcohol to make the ghost disappear, although his dead brother Ben was always by his side. In Season 1, Klaus meets the many people Hazel and Cha-Cha have murdered and uses them to gain information on the assassins, which eventually causes the duo to begin fighting amongst themselves. But he can use these apparitions for more than just information gathering. They can be summoned to assist him in battle. During World War III, he summons a platoon of ghosts to fight the Russians. In the final battle with Lila, he conjures some ghouls to save himself, and of course in Season 1 he is able to summon Ben's ethereal form, which has access to all of Ben's supernatural abilities, making these two unbelievably powerful when working together. Number 5, the boy has the ability to jump through space and time. As a child, his speed and reflexes were far above his brothers and sisters, as he is able to dodge point-blank gunfire and then replaces a thief's gun with a stapler before he can even react. Eventually, Five's ego gets in the way of his training and he attempts to time travel before he's ready. In doing so, he traps himself in 2019 after the apocalypse had destroyed everything on the planet, leaving him as the last living soul on Earth. From here, Five spent years surviving until he was recruited by the Temps Commission, where he became an assassin. He quickly rose through the ranks and was considered the deadliest person in the space-time continuum. Throughout the series, we see Five perform some of the deadliest feats with shocking efficiency. When attacked by the Temps Commission in Season 1, he dispatches them all without breaking a sweat and has the strength to snap a grown man's neck with his bare hands. In Season 2, he continues wreaking mayhem when he kills the board, blitzing each one of them without them realizing what's going on, and even splitting a man's skull before he can blink. Not only can Five casually blink through space-time, he also learns to control his ability to travel through time at the end of Season 2, reversing his family's deaths and rewriting history. Number 6, the Horror, also known as Ben Hargreeves, is already dead by the time the show begins, but we are able to see his power on full display multiple times. His power isn't really described in the show, but it's pretty much identical to the comics in practice, so I think it's safe to say that we can use the comics as a guide for this video at least. In the comic books, his ability is he can summon eldritch beings from another dimension through a portal he can open up in his stomach. Once as a child, Ben rips apart an entire group of would-be bank robbers and then apprehends 4 museum robbers during another mission. After Ben's death, Klaus is able to commune with his brother and is later able to summon his ghostly form to assist in the final battle at the end of Season 1, where he shows off his horrifying abilities yet again. Finally, we have number 7, the White Violin, also known as Vanya Hargreeves. I believe that only Reginald knows the full extent of Vanya's powers, as he decided they were just too great to be controlled, so he had her drugged her entire life to suppress her power, and really, I don't think that anyone understands them completely. She's sort of like an Omega level mutant, if you're familiar with the X-Men. But let's try to figure out what exactly she can do. With her powers unlocked, Vanya has access to a whole suite of interesting abilities. First is her ability to harness sound and then convert it into energy, which she can use in a variety of ways. Intense emotions amplify this power, which can become uncontrollable if she is too distressed. Her father trains her to control this power as a child, and she seems to succeed for a time until she can no longer be controlled. She emits a powerful sound blast when she absorbs the sound from a muffler in Season 1 to save Leonard. In Season 2, she sends out powerful sound waves that kill an entire floor of FBI agents and knock out Allison, Diego, and Klaus. Along with this ability, she has enhanced hearing similar to Marvel's Daredevil. She can isolate small sound over great distances and identify them very easily. Her ability to control sound waves also gives her telekinetic capabilities. She's able to passively move cars and street lamps after being off her drugs in Season 1, and in Season 2 she's able to move a body of water to find Harlan. She's also able to stop a missile and disassemble it in mid-air, and then flattens the entire Commission army with a singular blast. Another ability she has is Power Bestowal. She is able to give her powers to Harlan to save his life, and then later attempts to take her powers back, but that doesn't really work. Vanya is also able to control the weather. After having a falling out with her family, Vanya causes a storm and storm clouds to form and rain to pour down. And when in her true White Violin form, her powers become amplified even further. She's able to drain the life force from her brothers, and after being shot by Allison, she fires a beam that shatters the moon, causing the 2019 apocalypse. This is pretty impressive for multiple reasons. The first is pretty obvious. I mean, she destroys the moon, right? The second is the attack speed of this particular beam. It's roughly 172 million miles per hour, which is absolutely far and away the fastest speed feat that we see in the Umbrella Academy verse, both seasons 1 and 2. As for durability, it's hard to say. It seems like when she's in her white violin form, she's much more durable than she is normally. In her natural state, she's taken down easily from a shotgun butt to the head, but in her white violin form, she tanks thousands of volts of electricity. Vanya, unlike the majority of her siblings, does have a major weakness though, but it's nearly impossible to take advantage of. If she loses access to sound, as she does when she's trapped in a soundproof room, then her power is rendered useless for a time. She does eventually break out using the sound of her own heartbeat, so I mean, even if you take away the sound from around her, there's still sounds being made inside of her. So as long as she has access to any sort of sound, she has access to her powers. So those are the powers and abilities of the Umbrella Academy. Most of the members are roughly wall level, with a few exceptions like Luther and Allison, reality warping. And they're all about subsonic. Most can dodge and evade gunfire, and some, like 5, can dodge it point blank. Vanya is the major outlier of the group, with multi-continental levels of power and near speed of light attack speeds while in her white violin state. As for renumbering them all, I have to say Luther is probably still number 1. His superpower is nice and all, but in a straight hand-to-hand fight, I believe Diego is more deadly than his bigger brother. So those two would remain the same, 1 and 2. Allison, I would move up 2 spots above Klaus, who without Ben is pretty weak, and Ben, who while very powerful, can't warp reality. So I'd also put 5 above Ben due to 5's speed, ability to blink, years of training as an assassin, and his ability to reverse time. And while I think Vanya would in all honesty lose to 5 in a fight, I can't disagree that she is by far the most powerful, and if she can blast him before he blinks, it's over. So Luther is number 1, Diego is number 2, Klaus is number 3, Ben is number 4, Allison is number 5, 5 is number 6, and Vanya is still number 7. Let me know how you would reorder the Academy down below. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. We do really appreciate it. Be sure to like and subscribe, all that fun stuff. Check out Raid Shadow Legends. We really appreciate their sponsorship, and you supporting our sponsors supports us. Also, be sure to follow us on Twitter. That will be the pinned comment down below with the information about Raid Shadow Legends as well. Thanks again for watching, everybody. And remember the motto, it's the Umbrella Academy over everything. And I'll see you guys next time.